What's up, everyone, and welcome to episode 19, First and 10 with Foz. Tonight, I'm like a little child. I have one of my heroes, one of my super fan heroes in the house tonight, Mr. Don Wachter. How we doing? Bearman.
Bearman.
Thanks for coming over, bud.
How you doing, Foz? Thank you for having me. I'm doing good. I'm doing very good.
I appreciate you coming on the show. So when I first started doing this, and I was going to do a podcast, and came up with the concept, I'm going to talk about Bears, but I want to incorporate the fan life into it. Dude, you were the first person that popped in my head, obviously, because
you're
fucking Bearman. Jesus Christ. So, of course, you popped into my head. So I appreciate you coming over down and being on the show. You're
Glad
the absolute man, sir.
Well, thank you so much.
So let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. We're gonna get the Bearman story tonight.
Yeah, it's a long story.
It's a long story. We got time, man.
A lot of years.
All the time in the world. So let's talk about before you were the Bearman, when you were a little cub. When did your love for the Bears begin? Was it as a child? Were you raised in a Bear household? Right. Let's get into that.
Well, I'm 61, so I was born in 1962. But when I grew up on a farm in Northwest Indiana, but only, like 35 miles from Chicago. So all our influence on TV and radio was Chicago, and nothing in Indiana. So, all the sports was Chicago. But growing up, baseball was king then. There was no Pee-wee football. So we went, me and my brother, Jerry, a year older than me, we did Little League, and so Little League baseball. So we were more into baseball growing up. And unfortunately, here's another thing, the late 60s, early 70s, the Bears were a terrible team back then.
No way. I can't believe it.
Well, yeah. 1969, they were, 1 and 13. So
were you a Cubs or were you a Sox fan at that point growing up?
Well, actually Cubs, because of, the 69 Cubs. But then we kind of turned over to the Sox.
There we go.
Later on. Well, we also lived closer to Comiskey Park, and it was easier to get there. The South Side Hitmen, and 77 really kind of drew us to that, and then the Cubs weren't doing well. So the 83 Sox and so forth. But it was just with the football. I guess maybe unfortunately my dad, he was a farmer and a milkman. He really didn't have time. I always envy all these, these other fans I meet who say their dad raised them as a Bear fan or took them to a game.
They were at the stadium when they were 5 years old.
Yes, right. Like get this. I didn't go to my first Bear game until I was 21, 1983. So, but okay, again, going back. So I think me and my brother, kind of got me into it. Also, Jerry. When Walter Payton was drafted, that really, even though, 75, they still weren't that good. Sure. But I think when he came on the scene, then we, really gravitated towards the Bears, because at least the Bears had, a star on the team. A running back who was winning the titles. Walter was MVP in 77.
I think Walter Payton was everyone's beginning fandom for the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, well, for some it was. For the earlier guys than me.
Yeah.
They say Buckus and Sayers, but actually, I was a little bit too young to really, follow them. I don't remember, unfortunately, Buckus and Sayers too well because again, maybe we weren't watching it, and my dad wasn't into football. He was maybe a little bit more into baseball. So, but when we got Walter, and then Doug Plank was another favorite of mine. We'll get into that maybe later.
Obviously, I couldn't tell.
Yeah, the defense, and then. Yeah, everything I think revolved around Walter. Sweetness. He was, they used him so much on offense. It was, the joke was, run Walter 1, 2, 3 and punt, and so forth. But yeah, no, that's and then. We're really somewhere hungry for the Bears to finally do well. And they made the playoffs in 77, and so that kind of really got us going. But then, the Cowboys destroyed them, unfortunately, in the playoffs. And then they made the playoffs again in 79. And unfortunately, against the Eagles, Walter had. I don't know, you ever hear that great run he had?
He has so many, I can't pinpoint.
Well, in the playoffs,
Yeah.
but there was a holding call. Dan Jiggins,
Dan Jenkins. I know him more as the announcer,
yes,
than the player, but yeah.
He always won. It was like a 60 or 70-yard run he had, and it was called back. It was like, oh my god!
So you're 21 years old. This is your first.
But
time
83 was
yeah.
okay. But 83 was me and my cousin Joe Schmitz. We finally, I was I started going to college. I graduated in 1980. Started going to college at Vincennes University in 1980, and I still didn't go to a game. It wasn't until I took a break from college when I transferred to Purdue in '82. So I was out. I just took a break for a year, and I decided, hey, I need to get to a Bears game. So the first one was October something of '83. It was against the Broncos.
Okay.
And the Bears had a hell of a game. I mean, their defense was really coming into it and so forth. And I was sitting in the south end zone, and I don't know, just that game, I go, man, it just it struck me.
You felt home?
Yes. I mean, I just enjoyed it so much, and tickets weren't that expensive. They were like $15 a game.
Oh my god!
And so in '84, I decided, to go to Ticketmaster or maybe it was Ticketron or something. You would buy the tickets at the mall.
Yeah, I remember those.
You remember those?
Yeah, I do.
And because I knew
like Carson Perry,
or Jay, I think with us,
Dominic's used to sell tickets
with South Lake Mall there in Maryville. It was I think J.C. Penney or Sears they sold. So I bought 4 games because knowing that Walter was going to break the record. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking, okay, I bought 4 games, and I was there against the Saints when Walter broke the record. Jim Brown's record. But it was interesting. I was always getting these seats in the north end zone, kind of section 136, and that was right behind the goalposts. And it's like, and after that season, even though then I started back at Purdue in '85, the spring semester, I wrote. George McCaskey was the director of tickets back then, before he's president.
Yeah,
I just wrote him a letter saying, I like to, if possible, have tickets in the north end zone behind the goalpost. That's how you kind of apply for tickets.
Sure.
And I got a response back saying these are available, and I
got old stamp and letter in the mail.
Yeah, and I got seats 1 and 2, row 14, and here it is, 1985. I'm at Purdue studying
the best year ever.
Urban forestry. Yeah, I mean, it's like, again, $15 a game, $5 for parking. Right.
Stop it. You're killing me right now with these prices.
$5 for parking.
You can't even look at Soldier Field for $5.
Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, here it is. I'm sitting next to this one guy, from Clarendon Hills, and he's had seats since 1977.
Oh, man, yeah.
He had 4 seats, and I, got to be. So I'm thinking, isn't it strange? Here it is, 85. I was able to get tickets this close to the field, and I guess there was no waiting list, but I don't know. Other people, sometimes I talk to, say, yeah, there was a waiting list, but and here it is, the great season of '85. And here's the other thing too, is like the 4 games I went to in '84, the Bears won the '83 game, so I was on this streak of
a win streak. Like, you beat them there, they're winning.
Right. And I'm saying, well, I can't. So I guess I forget it. Finally got ended somewhere in '86, I think, was a Monday night game. They lost to maybe the Rams or something. But anyhow, but yeah, I mean, that season was just, I wasn't Bear man then. I just went, and I did actually. I used to buy these air horns.
Yeah.
A lot of people didn't really do much back then. There was no really face paint. There was no costumes, and so I would blow these air horns when they get first down or touchdown or so forth. So that kind of, I guess, I always wanted to do something unusual that other
something
people
stand out in the crowd.
So I was doing that air horn. So. I mean,
so you started out as air horn man, and then progressed.
I guess kind of. Yeah, I mean, back then, there was no rules. You could bring anything.
Yeah, I was going to say that would not fly
No,
today with those.
no.
Oh
I mean,
my God, you imagine that nowadays?
No, I know that's the whole thing. And then, well, I was, then it from air horns, it evolved to flags.
Yeah.
Then they came, they didn't start selling like these bear flags until like the end of the 80s. I remember you see them in these the Sporting News or the Bear Report. And it's like, wow. So there was this other guy in the section next to me. He actually had like a custom flag he had made. So like me and him were the only two ones, waving these flags. And I actually would bring in this. It was a golf course pin. That's what the pin.
Yeah.
Okay, so
that makes sense.
Yeah, I put rings on it where you could clip into the flag, and I would wave it. Every touchdowns, field goals, and so forth. So, and actually, my flag, I didn't bring these things here.
Yeah.
They used it on their media guide one year. Not me with it. They used it on a yearbook, and then it was in like NFL films. They would always do crowd shots and so forth. So then I did different flags, after that. But
so did you become a season ticket holder then at that point after the 85 year? I mean,
no, the 85 years.
The 85 years when you officially
year.
became
the first year. Yeah. So,
not even knowing they're going to the Super Bowl, like that's your official year. That's
right.
So
that's when it started.
Now, did you go to New Orleans for the Super Bowl that year?
Well, get this. Unfortunately, so they had a lottery, and what happened is all the season ticket holders in Northwest Indiana, like maybe Lake County or something, the mail got screwed up. Our application to sign up for the tickets
never made it there, or
came late, so the deadline was over. But here's the thing: they went by like how many years you had season tickets and times how many seats.
Sure.
So my chances wouldn't have been good. So no, I didn't even go to it. But get this: so at Purdue, I watched it with a bunch of friends there at somebody's apartment. But that's actually the first time I ever wore face paint.
We progressed. We have the air horn.
Yeah.
We have the flag. Now we're in the face paint.
Just this way at a watch
We're
party.
slowly growing towards something.
It was
right
just
now.
half blue, half orange. I think I put a white streak down the middle.
Nice.
Yeah, so I got my first taste of face paint too. So,
it's all progressing, Dom.
Yes,
Every
it is.
story has a beginning. So now you're a season ticket holder. 86 season rolls around. A little bit of disappointment they didn't go back. Buddy Ryan broke up with Dicka, that whole situation.
Oh yeah, we just assumed they were gonna, go to another.
Yeah,
Super Bowl
we know now in the history and their issues with one.
The whole Doug Flutie mess, and so forth, and McMahon unfortunately getting injured, and losing to the Redskins 2 years in a row.
Offense has kind of figured out the 46 defense after that.
But here's the thing: I think the defense actually might have better stats with Vince Tobin, than Buddy. I think maybe they gave up less points, but they were still just as strong.
Oh yeah, the talent was still there.
Right, but it was unfortunately the quarterback situation was what killed them. So.
Story of our life.
Yeah.
Story of our life. Still today.
And then, 87 was a strike, so for a couple of games. And so that kind of hurt the morale of the team and so forth. But no, the Dicka years I cherished, and so forth. So
now even before this, let's backtrack a little bit. You've always loved the animal, the bear itself, right? It's always been your favorite animal. So why don't you get into that? I mean, when did you kind of start being like, bears are awesome?
Well, I grew up on a 200-acre farm in Northwest Indiana, St. John, and we had in our farm. It wasn't just a flat farm. We had woods. It was like it was a little bit rolling, a hill on top, and then flat part on the bottom. So we had a creek going through it. We had all this woods and a slough. I actually wanted to go into wildlife management.
Yeah.
In the college at the Purdue, and I remember meeting with a counselor there. They said, "Well, you're going to have a hard time getting a job." I go, really, and when I think about it, it was the best thing, because if I went into wildlife management, I probably would have to, move out west or something, get a job, and I would have been away from the bears. So they said, hey, you should go in this kind of a newer field called urban forestry, which is managing trees, street trees in an urban environment. So that's what I studied. But part of me always loved, on our farm, even though we actually did hunt, I'm not against hunting at all. We had guns and so forth, but yeah, I always, intrigued by all the wildlife. But then I always liked the bear, the bear as a,
just the animal itself.
The animal itself. Yeah. I mean, it's the king of predators in North America.
Dude, it's chilling all the time. It's lazy. It sleeps, hibernates, scratches its back on a tree.
Yeah, it shits in the woods.
Yeah, it shits in the woods. All men should be envious of the bear.
Exactly. I mean, what can defeat a bear?
Nothing.
It's
humble, and it decides to get pissed off, and it feels like it. You better watch out.
Exactly. So. That's what I just love it. To me, I always wanted the primary logo, and I guess they changed it now this year to the bear head, the growling bear. I love that compared to the sea. The sea's okay, but
dude, when they changed the bear head logo to the primary, I was so happy.
I like to see it on the helmet. I like to see it on the helmet.
They say in the next coming up years.
Really?
Yeah, they said possibly the helmet, and they're going to change it on the 50-yard line too. Again, it's just all talks and rumors. Who knows what they're going to do?
Yeah, I mean, doesn't it look?
It just looks better. It just looks better. I mean, I agree with you. We're the Bears. It's a bear head logo. Makes more sense than the C to me. So back to late 80s. Now you're tailgating. Now you're a season ticket holder. You experience the Super Bowl shuffle.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone, Chicago Bears is a Bears town now. Everyone's going crazy. Walter Payton's still going. So at what point did you decide that I'm going to take my super fandom to another level, and I'm going to develop a character?
Okay. Well, before that, I went from, the horn, then I did the flags for several years. I had different flags. And then I guess it was either early 80s. I did start wearing face paint.
Sure.
And then I also wore these, face paint with a real authentic Bears helmet. I did that for a little while. I remember once when Dick Butkus was when he was broadcasting the Bears game on radio, I think with Lane Larrabee, and they would have they would have a stage by Soldier Field by Gate O where did the pregame thing, and they'd be on there, and so I was dressed up, and Dick, I guess, I don't know, he pointed to me or something. Maybe they want to know who I was. He goes, oh, you should have had that helmet on before your accident. He's seen my face paint or something. So I always take pride.
Dick Butkus just busted my balls.
Yeah, I would take pride in that Dick Butkus made fun of me in front of everybody. So, but
it's like getting heckled by John Rick.
Right.
It's like, okay, you made fun of me. That's
so
awesome.
From that, then I started wearing these punk wigs. I went to a costume shop. I don't know, I wanted to take it to another level. They'd have these orange and
we should have got pictures of all the transitions.
Yeah, I did. Well, I do have pictures.
Because I want to see you in a punk wig person.
Yeah, I did punk wigs and orange, and then I had a blue, and I even painted one blue and orange.
Yeah.
And then even that one Halloween game, that was where the retired Sayers and Butkus' numbers.
Yeah.
And remember how it was raining and everything. It would have been 94 because they were wearing that was the 75th anniversary, and that's when they were wearing the throwback uniforms. And that was, I guess, a Monday night or Sunday night, one of the two. And it was just so me and my brothers, we bought cone heads. Remember,
from cone heads, like Dan Aykroyd's SNL. Yeah,
you could buy cone heads, but we painted them. One was blue, one was orange, and we painted C's on them. So we wore like that to the game, so forth. So, okay, so I went, So
you haven't been comfortably going to a Bears game in a very long time at this
Probably
point.
not. I think with the face paint and everything. And then
You've always had some work to do before the game.
So the bear head came about the 96 season. It was actually, I think, early November of 96. Again, maybe I was getting tired of doing the punk wigs and so forth.
Yeah.
Again, because I liked the growling bear symbol, I wanted to maybe try to wear something. The Bears didn't have a mascot back then on the field or anything.
Yeah.
And I thought about, I went to, some costume shops, and nobody had anything decent like they do today. You could probably buy better ones, but all they had is these cutesy. Well, actually, I do see fans.
Teddy bear outfits.
Yeah, I do see fans actually wearing those at some games. Is this a smiling bear?
Yeah.
But the problem too, you maybe you wear it, and I don't know how well you can see out of it, and nobody even really knows who you are.
Sure.
So, what gave me the idea? There was this. I seen one game or two games. This one fan, I think he sat kind of to the left of my section, but kind of far up, and he actually had a bearskin rug on, but its mouth was just like, I don't think maybe you call it even a rug, because the mouth itself or the head itself wasn't even taxidermied in the sense that it didn't have no teeth, no tongue, the mouth wasn't open. It was just like, it was just open, it was just nothing there. There was no eyes in it. But that, I guess, maybe gave me the
light bulb went off.
Yes, yeah. So this was before the internet. You have to go through the yellow pages, and I just called some taxidermy places, and there was one in Palatine. And at the time, I was living in Elkhart, Indiana, because after Purdue, that's where I got a job over there. But I still went to the games. And I called this guy up and said, you have any black bear rugs or whatever? He goes, yeah, we got one. It's not yet finished. When he said finished, he means like a lot of times when they finish them, they put this
protective coat,
felt on the bottom of it. But the mouth was, the head was all done and everything. It was a little bit of smaller black bear. And I went in there and I looked at it and I go, wow, this looks good. This looks great. And the price was, I think it was only like $300, which was a really good deal.
And 96?
Yeah, 96.
That's like $2,000 today.
Probably, yeah. On auction. And get this, I was too ashamed, I was too embarrassed to say what I wanted to do with this thing.
I'm gonna wear it on my head and go to the Bears game.
Right. I guess I just kind of was quiet and just paid them and paid them cash and went on.
You're like, how can I turn this into a hat? Like, you didn't want to ask them that, obviously, right?
But part of me, I don't know if this guy, he was a little bit older, if he's even still living. I always wanted to go back there and said, and show him, hey man, because I think he's the one who did the work on it. So look what, your bear head made it everywhere,
Go back and see Norman Bates and saw what a good job he did.
Yeah. So, but I still don't know if I could, wear it. So I cut, you cut the head off from the rest of the hide. Mm-hmm. And then I had a friend at work who was a carpenter there in Elkhart Parks Department. And it's mounted on, there's like a foam. It's not enough like a foam, form, and then there's plywood on the bottom. So we cut a hole in it, and then there's all this foam in there, and I had to like scrape it all out. And at first, I just put a hard hat strap on it. So now I have a real nice. It's like a motorcycle strap. That really makes it. You can tighten and so forth. And I didn't know, this was going to work or not, but it wasn't maybe that sturdy at first, but yeah. So I think it debuted at I don't know, it was the Charger game or the Lion game in November of my face was painted. I always wore Doug Plank jersey, so. And I kind of debuted it there, and it kind of like took off after that.
Now, were you doing the full like bare arms? This was just a head at this point.
Just a head. Yeah. And you had jersey. I just had jeans on. I didn't wear Zubaz pants at that time even. So, but it got me some attention, from other fans and pictures, and also NFL Films. I think, they always do their yearly highlights. Yeah. And I think I got, they're actually, I think it was that season that the camera guy who's always there doing every game, he actually like had me like he came into the stands before the game because I got in early, and
Sure.
and he put the camera right on the bear head, and he goes, "Oh, sit there." And they said, "Oh, then stand up and yell and so forth," and so that was, I think, used in was used in the highlight film that year. So, and then the next year, 97, I actually was, when I was wearing, I would try to, even in its mouth, put like the opposing team, whatever we were like,
a little puppet of the body.
Well, for the Buccaneers, I had like a pirate arm, with the hook. For the Jets, I know I had like a plane, a green plane. For the Redskins, I had a bunch of feathers coming out of his mouth. Yeah, I would tape stuff in there. Then the Packers, I had a cheese wedge.
There we go.
So, but that 97 season kind of, got me some publicity where I think one of the earlier games, it was Dicka's return when he was with the Saints.
Yeah.
So I think maybe a Sunday or Monday night game. There was a producer from NFL Films who was hired to do to look for fans to do this, what they call the Miller Lite Rapid Fan of the Game thing. So
you're like, I got this one in the bag.
Well, they just, I don't know. They heard, I think from NFL, since it's NFL Films from the year before, they knew maybe I was going to be in that section. So this guy, right before they came, his name was Skip something. He came to me and said, "Hey, we're going to, we want to do this commercial, but, we want to do some filming of you, during the game." So like, they'd have me, yell and holler, even when nothing was going on during the game.
It's always weird when they try to make you do that.
With nothing, and other people would
like, don't worry, we'll make you look cool eventually.
Right. And then get this, so this was, I think this was a Sunday night, and he goes, "Okay, now the next day, we want you to be, we'll give you a call," and said, "This is when we're going to film the rest of the commercials." So so they had me go, I think, to Grant Park or Lincoln Park, one of the two. And I showed up, and I had the face paint, I had Zubaz pants, and they had a whole script. They had 3 scripts written for me, just from, overnight. Somebody had to write 3
different stuff,
3 different scenarios. So the premise of this commercial was, like I said, I'm Don Wachter. I'm like this mild-mannered fan, but when I put my bear head on, like it changes me. And they also filmed it where I found the bear head in a pawn shop. So we had to go to some pawn shop in Chicago and put the bear head in the window. And then they also had me go out on one of the piers in Lake Michigan, one of these, the concrete barriers or something. And I don't know, the one camera guy, he loved it because there were seagulls in the background or whatever those are. So
now
that was my first commercial.
There is a story you always tell everyone about how you got your bear head, right? Isn't there like a good wise tale story?
Oh yeah. Because a lot of people say, what's, where'd you kill the bear? Did you kill the bear and so forth? And part of me wants,
I killed it.
Yeah, well, but part of me will, like to say, well, why would wouldn't want to kill a bear, but even though I was a hunter growing up a little bit, so, but I always thought, since I was raised on a 200-acre farm, wouldn't it be it would be great to have a pet bear, black bear, pet bear. So I said, but my dad brought home this bear cub once, and we raised it on the farm. And I said, well, my mom wouldn't let it in the house except on bear games to watch the bear games with me. She wouldn't let it in there. Then that's the only time. And so, unfortunately, when the bear died, let's say his name was Bronco, from Bronco Nagurski. So
this is a totally believable story.
So I'd
be like,
so I had him made into a rug, but I always wanted to take Bronco to to a Bears game, but you can't bring a bear with you. So by wearing him, that was my way of getting him
Dude,
into
that
the
is
game
the best story
because we
ever.
watched it. And actually, I was on the Mike and Mike show. Mike.
I remember Mike in the morning.
Yeah, Mike.
Yeah.
Back in '99 when I was in the Visa Hall of Fans, and I told them because they said, "Oh, where that bearhead must smell and everything," or everything else. And they asked me like how that came up, and I told them that story, and they believed it actually.
Dude, it is a believable story. Like, if you would have told me that, like I didn't know you, I would have been like, poor Bronco.
Yeah.
Poor Bronco never had a chance on that farm.
Well, yeah, it's more interesting just that. Okay, yeah, I went to a taxidermist and bought it.
Oh no, you need to stick with that story.
Yeah.
Only us and the people watching this will know this. That's not the true story.
So that commercial actually, so we filmed that commercial, and then back in the the 97 season, Miller Lite would show this of a different fan. They did different fans every week. And so I think it was the Bears-Packer game that they showed it. So they showed it at the 2-minute warning of every game on Fox throughout the country. So every game that was on Fox, they would show that. So it's called the Miller Lite Rapid Fan. I have a copy of that. The nice thing is, at the end of the season, I got paid $500. That's my first acting gig.
There we go.
Yeah, $500 a one-time thing. But they redid the commercial, and Harry Callis, who does NFL, not John Facenda. He was the original one, for years, and then Harry Callis took over.
The narrator.
Yeah, he narrate. He would narrate like all the end of season, the highlights, and everything. But he did. They redid it, but they didn't even tell me about it. And I had to find,
that was in that fine print paperwork.
Yeah. You can,
they can do whatever they want now. Here's your $500.
But it was actually, they did it real good because he said, Don Wachter, is a Bear fan. He's a stone throw from Soldier Field, and then they show like these other two fans I've seen who had like full body, paint on, blue and orange paint. He goes, he doesn't settle for paint, paint. He takes his fandom to a new level.
Yeah.
He wears an actual bear head on his head, although a disturbing one. So they make fun.
It's a real bear head. It's not disturbing. It's a real bear head.
Yeah, I mean they had me like leaning. They showed a picture of me like leaning into they made fun of me, but it was actually better, even though I didn't speak in it.
They're just jealous of how cool you were.
Right. So and then again during the playoffs, they also did a montage of all these different fans they used through the season.
Sure.
They showed just a quick shot of me again. So that was real nice.
You're the OG super fan now. I said at the beginning, my friend. You started all this crap. Let's go through the comments real fast. I got a couple to go through. Your fellow Hall of Famers in the house tonight, Mr. Terrence Shaw. We had him on the show a week or so ago. Another great guy, another great story, just like you, man. You guys are doing the Bears right out there.
Terrence.
Kirk Gillespie, Shufflin's on the show tonight. We all know Doug Plank is your favorite Bears player. Who is your second favorite Bears player?
Well, right here. That's why I put 34 baby. On here. Yep. Always put.
No, obviously.
I did that after he passed away, actually, to honor him. But Sweetness. It's like Doug is the offense. I mean, defense. Sweetness is the offense.
Yeah. So Doug Plank, obviously, still alive. He's still involved doing stuff out in the media with the Bears.
Yeah.
You've met him at this point, obviously, right?
Oh, yeah. The first time I met him was at the fan convention, the very first Bears fan convention they had in '98. So, and that was just such a great.
Now, did he know who you were?
Yes, he did. That's a thing.
That's even better. Man.
Yes, because they were showing me. This was before I actually ran with the flag.
Yeah.
I think we should get into that story.
Yeah.
Because that was like March of '98. But they were showing. I know this one time one game. I was walking around Old Soldier Field. They had that like that between the upper and lower, not section. You could walk around constant. A ring around there. I know one game they showed me because I had the bear head on, and it said Plank in the back. And I think Jerry Glanville was the announcer, and he goes, "Oh yeah, Plank and Svensson. I remember those guys."
Heck yeah.
But when I met Doug at the fan convention, like we hugged and everybody would take it. But he said, he goes, people call me and say, "Hey, there's this guy wearing this bear head. He's wearing your number and so forth."
He's doing him proud, my friend.
Yeah, so I mean, and he thanks me for wearing his.
We got a grr out there. We got a grr, guys. Kirk agrees. Put the bear head on the.
But why I love Doug is, I don't know if you know, he was like they did a story once in Sport Magazine, and they show him on the cover, like making a tackle against the Rams, and the article's about dirty players. So he was labeled back in the late 70s. He was kind of considered, like a cheap shot. Or, well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, a lot of people remember that Monday night Jimmy Giles of the Buccaneers. I mean, you see the film where I have not. No. Oh, where he knocks him out of the game. Yeah, you need to see it. And
it's one of my favorite plays ever.
And they, but Doug was never even penalized on that, but he knocked him out of the game, and they,
such a different game of football back then than nowadays, right?
But Doug, that's the way you see Doug. He played. I mean, he played through the whistle. I mean, he gave his body up because he wasn't that big of a guy either. Because he seemed like he was always afraid of losing his starting job. That's why because it actually
you play harder when you think you're going to lose your job.
Well, get this. So Doug likes to say he's the only player that was drafted and started the same season who never started in college. He never started with Ohio State.
Wow.
Right.
I'm surprised you get drafted not even being a starter. Like that's
what happened is
it's almost like a no.
Right. Well, I mean, he wasn't the regular starter. There was one. He got noticed big time by a Bear scout when the Ohio State played Northwestern, and the starting safety went down, and when he came in, he just lit it up. He made all these plays, and because of that, they basically, he wasn't never there. There's always somebody in front of him that he couldn't get on the field.
Sure.
Somebody that I don't know if he was maybe a walk-on too, so forth. So
he definitely etched his place in Chicago Bears history.
Yes,
and you have definitely kept him alive all these years.
Well,
that's for damn sure.
I mean, you know the story, right? The 46th defense was named after his number.
Yeah.
That's what Buddy Ryan did. He had all these different formations or plays, and he would just pick numbers, and he picked Doug's. But one of the things, because with the 46, one of the safeties actually kind of moved into the linebacker position, so he was kind of like an extra linebacker there. So,
dude, that defense is the best defense of all time. We could talk all day about that defense, my friend. Okay, so we're back into like the late 90s right now. This is before the Bears had a mascot. And you kind of started to get involved a little bit with that, with the flags and everything.
Okay, what happened?
Let's get into that stuff.
Right. So what happened the '97 season? I was wearing the bear head, and I,
now the bear suit's still not in this yet. Right?
No, not really.
We'll get to that point.
Right. And I had people tell me, "Oh, you should, try to get on the field, do something." And so I go, come on, they're not going to let me on the field, but
lo and behold.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the Miller, so I wrote, actually, I should have wrote before the bear head, actually, I think the 95 calendar, they actually used me with the punk wig and the face paint I had this flag that I still use today. It says bear down. Okay. I put it on the wall there, But I used to wave that. And actually, also then at a time, they said you can't bring in flag poles. So what I did, I would sneak in these poles and just slide them in the end of each side and just hold it up. So then take it down. So Bill Smith, who was the official photographer of the Bears, they used that on the free calendar they would give away at one of the games. So Ken Valdesari, he was the director of marketing. I think I asked him for some extra calendars, and so I guess he knew of me. But after the season, I think it was like January, I just wrote this long letter. You know, this was the Wanstead years, and it was just.
I know. I remember
the Bears were.
I remember the Wanstead.
Yeah, they were
So,
terrible,
yeah.
and there wasn't much, morale. Again, there's no cheerleader. There's no cheerleader, no mascot, and all they had was they just started that maybe in '96 or somewhere. They brought these two big giant flags, one on each end zone. So, and they just had some, I think, college kids it was a pole vault pole.
Yeah.
It's actually, and they had them connected to that, and they would, before the game started, they would run with the team, and then one would each go to each end zone, and then when the Bears scored a touchdown, they would go back forth. So, I just asked to be involved. Be involved in the game day presentation, and Ken Valdesari. Well, in 2 weeks, he wrote me back. I go, he goes, yeah. I goes, he said, we like your enthusiasm and support. Then he kind of said, well, he kind of, put it to the park district, kind of saying, well, the facilities at Soldier Field aren't that good because of the park district and everything else, because back then there was no video board.
Yeah.
Can you think
of
that?
If you run, you hurt yourself or something on the field. There's
there's no video. I mean, us fans didn't have no video board. We're probably one of the last teams to get a video board. They finally put one in. And so the fan convention was coming up. He said he wanted to meet me, talk to me about it at the fan convention. Mm-hmm. So I met him real briefly at the fan convention. And actually, I had I think I did have fur on my arms. Now I actually took the fur, the original fur from that rug, and I actually tried to, I basically sewn it up.
Yeah.
And I didn't have really claws, but I just had the gloves, and then I also had bare feet too. I glued
puzzle pieces.
I glued some together. I got some old slippers. Somebody gave me those bear slippers that you sometimes buy, and I glued them on some football shoes. And so I had that, and just Zubaz pants, and the head and the face paint and the 46 plank jersey. And he goes, yeah, he goes, we want to use you to some aspect, but we don't know how. So then in June, I finally got a call, and he said, I want you to come down, the new Hallis Hall.
Yeah.
And so I came down there, and he goes, well, we're not going to really don't want to make you the official mascot. They were concerned about the real bear because
activists and natural rights people out there, guys killing bears.
Yes, the PETA people.
Yeah, the PETA people.
Because
I didn't even think about that. Yeah,
just like PETA people wouldn't go for probably they'd have a problem if the Bears had actually a real bear on the sideline.
Of course, yeah, 100%.
And I think they got rid. The Dolphins had a real dolphin. I think that got.
We all know where the sensitivity levels are today,
right?
The Redskins and everything.
Yeah, so he just said, well, but he said they had an opening to run the flag. So, and actually, that first season in '98, I could bring for the second flag guy. I brought friends and relatives who ran with me. So, So basically, from '98, I was on and I always made sure I always had the blue flag with the bear head. The other flag was white and had the C. I didn't care for that one. So I had the bear head one. It was blue, and it was on a pole vault pole. So I was always in the north end zone. Yeah. So that was my end zone. So I did that all the way from '98 all the way through 2000. Champaign 2002.
When they were doing the reconstruction of Soldier Field, right?
Right. So, but then unfortunately, Ken Valdesari, he got fired. Him and Ted Phillips didn't get along, and they had new people come in with marketing with the new stadium. The Bears really expanded their staff a lot.
Sure.
You'd be amazed how few people, if you ever go through media guides, they're in the 80s and 90s compared to what they have now.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, I think the Bears also maybe had fewer people too than maybe other teams. But anyhow, they brought in some new people with a new stadium, and so this was again right after Champaign because I did the whole season down there and so
Yeah,
forth.
during the construction.
Right. And then they took me out to lunch, the new director of marketing. She goes, well, she said, we're having a new mascot. She said, if you want to, you could actually try out for it. But, I mean, I don't have any experience.
Sure.
This mascot thing, actually, there's people.
Like, how does one try out to be a mascot?
Yeah, and also, I think I was making more money at that time than it was a full-time job. You had to be available.
Really?
Yeah, that's
okay.
a full-time. Yeah. I would have had to kind of quit my job or whatever. And I was like, nah. But so they said, well, you can still, they act like I was going to even be involved with state doing some stuff with them, but I never did. But here's the thing. They said, well, you can't wear your Bearman outfit anymore on the field. So,
and that was the end of it, right there.
And, they said the reasoning was they said it would be too confusing, if you were in costume and then you got Staley, like who is, why you got two people.
Sure, yeah, 100%.
And I guess Staley was, for the kids and so forth. And, so actually for 2 seasons, I was still running because I wanted to, do it at New Soldier Field.
Sure, of course.
But, they gave me certain clothes to wear, like I had to wear khaki pants. And they gave me, shirts and windbreakers and so forth, which is kind of, nice. I got, again, free parking and got to the game.
And now, like, season ticket holders are able to go out and do that kind of stuff with the flags and everything.
Right.
You can buy them as part of the benefits.
But still, when I did it, we still only had 2 flag runners. Now they got how many guys with flags and so forth. So it was still. So I did. So after the second year, I was like, I missed being Bearman. I guess I missed it.
Yeah,
I didn't. And I don't know how long I could have ran the flag. So I basically kind of said, I want to go back in the stands, and they understood. There was no hard feelings and so forth. So, but yeah, so that's.
Everyone knows where you are right by the tunnel.
So
everyone looks over there. They know where you're.
Well, yeah. So a lot of people don't know. There was actually, I guess, there was 2 seasons where a lot of times, well, I've done it since '96. Well, I guess there's technically 2 seasons. Yeah. I wasn't Bearman, so I didn't wear it because they actually didn't want me to wear it either. So, but I have a great relationship with them. The Bears, they like to, use my image and so forth. And they thank me, for doing what I do. And, even at the fan conventions and something, they liked when I went dressed up as that, during the Super Bowl.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, of course.
It's kind of a shame they did get rid of the fan convention. I think it was such a hit.
Yeah.
I think they might have said it just got too big for the, for the hotel and so forth. But, I do, a lot of the fans really miss it, even though they got the draft party.
Sure.
The fan convention was a special, 2 days, 3 days when, they brought in all the Bears alumni and so forth. So, just like the Cubs convention, I guess. So,
so what a lot of people don't know, and I found this out talking to you a little bit earlier, is obviously you're in the Ford Hall of Fame right now.
Right.
But you were previously in a Hall of Fame, the Visa.
Yes, the Visa
Hall of Fame. Why don't you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, that's.
Because, obviously it's all leading towards your absolute fandom.
So 98 was my first year doing the flag, and Visa decided they're going to have this new called Visa Hall of Fans in the Hall of Fame. And this was considered, such a new concept because they weren't sure how the players would react, having fans and, that's their Hall of Fame and so forth.
Sure.
And actually Walter Payton was instrumental in saying, yes, this is a great idea. Let's have fans.
Another awesome Walter Payton story.
Yes. Walter Payton, God bless his soul, And so what Visa did that first year for this contest, you had to write, I don't know, like a 200-word essay why you're considered an ultimate fan. But what they did is Visa actually contacted each team and said, hey, do you have a fan you recommend that should be in this contest?
We got one.
And Francie Portrait, back then, Fancy Portrait, actually, she was one of the new positions. Well, even before the new stadium was called fan relations. And she was the one who, got the fan conventions and everything.
Customer service with everyone.
Right. So she was and there was a fan club too. She was.
95. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, a lot of times, that was the fan. She was the head of the fan club. So, and she said, so they Visa called me up. The company who was running the contest said, enter this, and I entered it, and I was selected to be, the Bears representative because they picked a fan from all 32 teams. So get this, so in January, Visa flew every fan and a guest to Canton, like for 3 days, to unveil this new Hall of Fame. So I got to meet, and I was kind of, being Bearman, I was just new to this. So I got to meet these other famous fans, Big Dog from the Cleveland Browns, the Pope from the Saints, Arrowman, Fireman Ed. He was pretty
rattling off legends right now, my friend.
Yeah, some of the Raider guys, with the great costumes.
Yeah. The Raiders Nation has the
Not
best.
everybody. Mikey T is called Boss Hog.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, so I was almost kind of in awe because I wasn't really known, but not everybody that was chosen, was a big, as far as a really recognized fan or had a costume, but unfortunately, actually, you see, Walter Payton was supposed to be like the master of ceremonies for the unveiling, and it just so happened.
So he got sick.
Yes, that's when he came out, and he couldn't do it. So they had Art Donovan, which he's a character. I don't know if he calls himself Fatso. I don't know if he played for the Colts in the 50s.
Okay.
He'd be David Letterman would have him on quite a bit.
Was he a fun guy to do the ceremony?
Oh yeah, because he'd tell these crazy stories. He played when there was no guys didn't do any conditioning for football.
Yeah.
He said, you came to camp, you were overweight.
They were out drinking the night before.
Yeah. He was saying the only thing, they did was 12-ounce curls and everything. So this guy had this crew cut and I actually did some interview with him for TV. I never got out, but he was saying about he remembers when they played the Packers. Back then, their hotel, you actually walked to the stadium.
Oh my God!
In Green Bay,
that would make sense.
He said they would walk by this prison in Green Bay, and the prisoner would be yelling at them, and that. He said, this guy."
Only in Wisconsin, right?
You should buy his book. Yeah, it's called Fatso. But
that's very cool.
Yeah, he's a defensive tackle, big guy. So they unveiled this new exhibit and. Our picture was in there.
Now, do you have a plaque? They
gave us all a plaque in there, and then so Visa did this for 6 years, but I was lucky because only the first 2 years of winners got to go to Canton. After that, I don't know. They decided to change some things, and they just presented the fan with their plaque and a gift certificate at the stadium.
Sure.
But I should give you the story why Visa discontinued this, because unfortunately of Jerry Jones, and I got a letter from Visa basically saying this is why. So Visa was the official.
Jerry Jones wrecked something else in the NFL. Right?
Visa was the official credit card of the NFL.
Yeah.
So every NFL team, had Visa. Now, when Jerry Jones bought the Cowboys, he didn't like that Coke was, had to be served in his stadium, and he made his own deal with Pepsi, and he won, I guess, because I think, I don't know if he, threatened to sue the NFL.
All right, guys, comment, please. Coke or Pepsi? I'm Coke all day. Like Pepsi's like the redheaded stepchild of Coke. I don't know. It's just me. You guys tell me what you think.
And because of that, even after year 2, the Hall of Fame, told Visa say, hey, this isn't, this is only going to last a couple more years, because Visa could no longer represent every team. There's actually I think one team, maybe the Panthers, they had another credit card as their sponsor, and they wouldn't even let Visa present the plaque to whoever won.
So with him causing all this, that pretty
Yes.
much ended the relationship
yes,
with everyone, and then that kind of died off, and
right. So
that Hall of Fame thing died off.
The NFL, the exhibit stayed there a while, and then now they made it. If you've been to the Hall of Fame, it's called the Lamar Hunt Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. It's the whole history of the Super Bowl. So that area is where the Hall of Fame part of it was. So then the
new Hall of Fame comes around now.
Yeah, so
2019, right?
So Visa, and then 2002, and then again. So in 2018, I get a call from somebody from the Bears, and they were telling me that Ford contacted them and said they're having this new contest, and and that the Bears recommended me, to be in it. So, I had to do a write up and send in a video, and I think this was October, and then November I got a call from Ford's advertising companies that was running the contest saying, you made the next level, and they said, but you're not there's going to be 6 finalists, but you're not a finalist yet. They said, but we want to come to your house in it was December, early December 5th or something.
Sure.
We want to come to your house to do an interview with you. And so they came out on a Tuesday night just to even look at my house and to see what kind of filming they would do the next day. And they kind of said, oh yeah, we'll do this, so be ready. Actually, they didn't want me in costume at first. So, so here it is, Tuesday or Wednesday morning, this film crew with sound, video, compute, there's 6, 7, 8 people show up, and they set up everything. And then, they had me go through my house showing my memorabilia and so forth. And then they filmed me putting on the makeup and then putting on the costume. And then they go, okay, we want to do this, this interview downstairs. And so, the producer was I was in a chair, they were interviewing me for quite a while. And then I hear this pounding on my door, and I'm thinking, that's strange. He goes, why would somebody pound on my door? I got a doorbell. And also, since we're in the middle of the interview, I thought, there was, guys coming in and out.
Like security handle this or something?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I got, I thought somebody, one of the crew was going to answer the door, and the producer goes, would you go answer the door? I go, yeah. But I thought that was, they asked me to answer the door. We're in the middle of an interview. So I opened up the door, and there's Brian Urlacher in his gold jacket.
Yes, sir, Mr. Urlacher.
Yes,
guy, dude.
And his hair, new hair, and everything. And he goes, Bearman or Don Wachter Bearman. He goes, I'm here to nominate you for the Ford fans.
Nice.
And I was like, I said, what the hell? At first, I couldn't understand why. I thought maybe this is something else going on. But then, when he said that, we actually had to do that opening of him opening the door. We had to do it 3 times because I guess he didn't get his lines right. I guess so. I'm not sure. What they actually showed in the video that might not have been the original. My original
pieced it all together. Probably.
Yeah, they did.
Took the best of the best.
Right. So yeah, so they, they tricked me, because I actually questioned them. I said, I would say I'm not a finalist. You're coming all the way out there to go. Well, you're kind of close. You might be, but yeah, they did a good job of,
sure,
because picking him up at the airport, and then they filmed him in a Ford truck, driving the, in Chicago, and then they actually supposedly they closed down my street or something. That's what I heard. And they wouldn't let people go through. And, then there was a film crew outside, him knocking on the door and so forth. And then he, I showed him, we went upstairs in my Bears memorabilia room, or man cave, I guess. And they had a jersey. So Urlacher jersey, then, he signed it and everything for me. And yeah, that was it. And then
So at this point, you're still not in, though, right?
no, I still
That was like a whole
right.
fan,
and I had
fan
to be
voting, right?
and I had to be quiet for like the whole month of December. I did tell some people, but but I had to technically not say anything. So on the very last game of the regular season, I think that Sunday they finally announced, they actually showed it, I think, on Fox, that hey, the Ford Hall of Fans, and now you start voting. Actually, the voting part was just 1/3 of the, I guess, of the judges. The judges, there was a panel from the NFL and a panel from, or maybe a panel from Ford, panel from the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And then, but they told you the voting. So there was 6 of us. There were 6 of us where a Hall of Famer came and knocked on the door, and so for the whole month of January, I had the campaign, and I had a lot of, I can't believe all the support I got from my relatives, and then just all the Bear fans and all the Bear,
dude, that was a big part of
all
these,
all these Bear, different Bear fan pages I really never belonged to, and then I started belonging.
Now you've maxed your fan or your friends out on Facebook, right?
Oh yeah,
you're at 5K.
Yeah.
You're donezo, pal, right?
Well, yeah, I wasn't before the contest, but I was accepting everybody once the contest.
Yeah, all the friends came out of left field. For
I needed, and Timmy Shanley, he helped me. I mean, he kind of pushed me. We were doing videos every week, a different video out there, and even I think the playoff game against the Eagles, unfortunately.
Yeah, the double doink.
We were handing out cards, vote for Bearman and that, so I think it was only like the Monday before. Was the Monday before the Super Bowl? We finally got a call when voting ended on a Sunday, and that next morning I got a call saying I was one of 3 finalists that would go to the Super Bowl in Atlanta, but the rules said only one of us is going to get it.
So you didn't know all 3 of you were
no. So here it is. Me and my friend Paul Sawicki, the Road Warrior, he's my guest.
Yes,
so Thursday, we met Rick Holman and Roger Avila. Rick Holman, the Steelers fan, and Roger Avila, the Dolphins fan. We met. And they were saying, we're at this bar, and they said, well, next morning, it's going to be pretty exciting. You need to be in your, not your costume, just your Bears attire, but just stay in your hotel anywhere from 8 a.m. till 9:30 or something. Yeah. See if you get the knock. And they put us on different floors.
Oh, of course.
That was interesting. Yeah. And this actually was the Patriots hotel that they stayed in, and also like a lot of the Hall of Famers and alumni were in there. So that's where I seen like Robbie Gould. I seen him there. But anyhow, so here it is. 8 o'clock and nothing's happening. I think 8:30. I've been getting close to 9. And it's like
anxiety's at all-time high right now.
Oh man, it was like finally, bam, and there's David Baker. Open the door to big David Baker. Yeah. I couldn't even get my arms around him. They're so big, and so. But I was the second one, so Roger, I guess, got I didn't hear it. Roger got the knock, and then I got the second. And Rick told me, Rick got the last knock. He said that I think he heard me yelling, so he actually thought that
you heard a large growl through the ventilation system.
And Rick thought, well, he wasn't going to get it then because he maybe heard me yelling. So, but all 3 of us, they because I always thought, it'd be awkward. Wouldn't it be awkward if all 3 of us go there, and then here it is Friday already. Yeah, you've done all this already. Well, Friday they said only one of you gets to be in it, so. Here it is, we go, then it'd be awkward, than going to the Super Bowl and this luncheon where only one of you won. Sure. So no, it was great that they did that, that all 3, and makes sense and so forth. So
yeah, otherwise it's like going on like six job interviews and not getting the job. Like,
Right.
oh, you wasted a lot of my time here. Like, I mean, it's cool, but at the same time, like, you dedicating so much time to traveling and nerves and stress and everything that goes along with it. So,
but then we didn't know, okay, we know then there was going to be an exhibit in the Hall of Fame during the Hall of Fame weekend, but they hinted something about there could have been a ring. So we kind of found out, wow, they're going to make, but then like in June, they asked me my ring size and also my.
Yes, this is different than the Visa one because you got the ring.
At the ring, yeah.
You got the blue jacket, different from the gold.
Yeah, so exactly. Yeah, Visa.
Visa,
I did get some stuff from the Bears. Each team sent some stuff, and Visa gave us a little bit of stuff. But no, not like. See, they did it almost the same way, except the bust. Instead of a bust, we had a plaque, and then and there was an exhibit with our stuff in there in a glass case, which is what they do with.
It stays there for the year, right?
Right, and they do that with the players too. If you go to the Hall of Fame, whoever gets inducted, they have some stuff, memorabilia from their, from.
And you also got the very well-known Ford Bears wrapped F-150 that.
Well, they didn't give that to me though.
They did not? That was not part of
it? No, they didn't give that to me. I had to buy that.
Oh, I thought that was part of the thing.
Well, we were thinking, actually, all three of us were thinking they might
give us a car.
Yeah, because actually they had us do a commercial. I went back to Canton again in September or end of August. We actually went back again and filmed the commercial where they showed it on Fox, to advertise for the next.
It's funny because when I interviewed Terrence and I got done, I'm like, that went really well. I asked all the questions I wanted to ask him. I'm like, fuck, I forgot to ask him about the F-150 because I thought with you being in, I related the Hall of Fans with the F-150 Ford and all that. So I didn't know it was on your own because I was going to ask Terrence. I'm like, where's your F-150 at, man?
No, okay, how that came about is, so in 2020 at the auto show, the Ford people from Chicago advertising, they asked me if I would show up one night at the auto show.
Yeah.
And, take pictures with fans and so forth. And I think I heard the previous year that this Arlington Heights Ford, that was the previous year they actually unveiled a Ford F-150 all wrapped, designed.
Yeah.
And so somebody took a picture of it and sent it to me from 2019. So 2020, when I go there.
See, because you got it around the same time the Hall of Fame, so I'm just like 2 and 2.
Well, yeah, it was actually the next February or whatever. But I seen it and I just fell in love with it, even though I didn't think I would buy a second vehicle or even a truck. I didn't think of myself as a truck guy, but I don't know. I just loved the way it was, the way it looked, and it's like
everyone loves it. Trust me.
And I talked to them. They go, well, we'll work. We'll give you a deal and so forth. I don't know.
The Bearman discount. Did you get the Bearman?
I don't know if I really did. Or, I tried it. I actually was calling people from Ford corporate about that too, and I said, well, what you want me to drive that? To advertise.
I'll be a sponsorship for you guys.
Right. Yeah. So. But no, I've kind of bought it. I had to pay for it. But we always thought maybe because here's the thing, there before the Ford Hall of Fans for football, there's actually a Ford Hall of Fans for NASCAR. I think they even did it. They just picked 2 people for NASCAR, and they're actually they don't have it. There's no exhibit at the NASCAR Hall of Fame for these fans, but instead what they give them is a vehicle, or they give them like $40,000 to buy a vehicle.
Which one would you rather have?
I don't know.
If you had to choose between the car,
no. Well, I guess the whole thing of being in the Hall of Fame with the plaque in there and so forth. No, I think that's. I guess that some people say, "Oh, wait, you're crazy. You probably should."
So now they've stopped the Ford Hall of Fame again now, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, I hate to say it. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm kind of disappointed.
Do we know how this is
At first, I
forward?
thought they had a 5-year commitment with it at least,
Sure.
and because I remember on the kiosk they have there at the exhibit, they have 5 years to see the winners and the videos, but then this so even 2 years ago, so last year they never had the contest, they never advertised it, and they really never told us why or that they weren't going to have, but
money, I'm sure everything comes down.
Well, they decided, it seems like even when the last year when Terrence was in there, I noticed we
have the most bears in there, just for the record. We have 2 bears in there.
Yes, we have 2 bears in there. They weren't doing the big advertising for, the F-150, what they were, and the contest. I noticed they were really putting their money into the electronic truck.
Sure, yeah, of course.
So that, I thought that was kind of interesting. And then I don't know if our audience knows, but last year on Fox, Ford lost their sponsorship.
Yeah, it's Chevy now, right?
Yeah, Chevy won it.
Chevy
got it. When I seen that, I go, so that's not good, So Chevy now is the I don't know if they're considered the official truck of the NFL, but they are the official truck of the Fox pregame. And Ford, isn't. But get this now, being at the game, Saturday, and I'm by the tunnel, and for years on the top of that tunnel would say Ford.
Yeah.
It's not there anymore. It's Chevy.
It's lost that familiarity. Like, where'd that sign go?
Well, yeah. So here's the thing too. I mean, Ford was a sponsor, as of last year or 2 years ago, of 13 different NFL teams. Not every team, and the Bears were one of them. But now they're not. It's Chevy, is it? Yeah. And I think what is it? Hyundai, I guess, is the car. For the car. So
whoever shows more money, right?
Yeah, so it's they pulled out of the spot, and I guess they just, what can you say? It's unfortunately some of these sponsored Hall of Fames or contests, yes, they're not they're not going to be forever. Maybe now, I think the NFL Fan of the Year, I think that's different. I think, it is sponsored by Captain Morgan. But I think that is going to be strange that they don't keep on doing that.
That sounds like something more sustainable for a longer period of time than actually being in Canton.
Right. That's the thing. Right. Yeah. Right. So.
And with the amount of
I think also the NFL pays a lot of that too. Sure. Where I think with Ford, they were paying for, everything. It cost them, you'd be amazed how much they would, had to pay
I can imagine
the Hall of Famers to go to, and to go to and knock on the door of the fan and so forth. And but I think this Fan of the Year, I think is actually getting very popular. And
yes,
a lot of competition. So I can see that going.
Speaking of that, a lot of competition. The NFL Fan of the Year. I mean, you started in '85. Nobody was doing super fan stuff back then. Like you said, you were like, I don't want people are going to think I'm crazy doing this. Is kind of what you thought around that time. Now you fast forward to today, and you look around the league and doing the show and seeing like the PFUFA and ESF and all these different organizations. There are so many super fans out there.
Yes, there is. Yeah.
Dressing up and doing the part and different gear and different costume. And dude, you're an originator of that whole entire thing. How do you feel about all these things?
Actually, I forgot about like Barrelman. Remember I said he was actually the Visa, and he was doing it long before, before me. Maybe not. I mean, he was one of the original.
But it was like there was a minority of.
There was. There was.
Somewhere now, there's almost like a good chunk.
Going
for each team.
Well, I think that's what I kind of take pride in. 26 years, I do got some longevity, and actually, there's been even in our group of of Ultimate fans that, have kind of a costume or a character. Some of them, have actually retired and gave up, like Big Nasty,
So do you like where it's gone with all these more and more super fans, how it's grown and become something, or did you enjoy it when it was smaller, or do you think there's too many nowadays? What's your opinion?
I unfortunately the Bears could use more. I mean, when you think about it, we don't have that really many
more original ones. Not ones you try to copy.
Right. Yeah. Right. More original. We could, because where some teams, I'm almost like, wow, they got a lot more. Like the Raiders, they got so many of them.
I love the Raiders, dude. The Raiders Nation, their costumes and what they do are so.
Yeah, trying to think who are some of the other teams that I think have have quite a few of them.
Oh, dude, the Vikings. The Vikings.
The Vikings. Yeah, the Vikings have so many.
I got Sir Death coming on the show later on when we play the Vikings.
The Seahawks have quite a few. The Rams.
Legion of Boom and all that. Yeah.
But yeah, we kind of sometimes it's interesting when I do notice. Like some of the networks when they do use, or the media when they use pictures, it is kind of like a lot of it's just guys dressing up as dick. That's
that's become the thing.
Yeah, I know. It was like, that's kind of that, or it's me, or maybe somebody in the Bears.
Yeah,
but there isn't really that many of us. And another team, when you think about like the Giants, can you think of anybody, the Giants, who has that's a weird one. Here it is, New York.
How do you dress up like a Giant?
Well, but even I don't know, some type of persona that with red and blue. I don't know. There is. I mean, that is one thing.
That's a complicated one to try and tackle. Right?
It kind of maybe even goes with who the Giants are, because just the other day I was quizzing, my friends. Can you name? I think there's only like 7 teams that actually don't even have an official mascot on the field.
Sure.
And the Giants is one. The Packers are another one. So these old teams.
Well, the Packers are going to have someone like packing a suitcase out
there. Yeah, or I don't know,
eating cheese and just
big giant, cheese or a cow, or I don't know, or
Vikings, Bears, Lions,
a butcher,
Packers.
I guess, when you say a butcher. So even the Jets, but they have cheerleaders, but they don't. There is no, no.
Sure, yeah.
And but here's the thing, the Raiders, they don't have a mascot, but a lot of their fans are kind of like mascots.
So. We need to get some cheerleaders back. What happened to the Honey Bears? We need to bring the Honey Bears back.
Yeah.
Debbie Tuttle watches. She's a former Honey Bear. She watches all the shows.
Yeah.
She's awesome. We need to bring the Honey Bears back. We need some cheerleaders.
Yeah, that's
back in Chicago.
I agree.
That's a Virginia McCaskey thing, right?
Yeah. Yes, it is. One of the problems with, I don't know if you ever heard
I've heard stories. There
was one. There was some of the NFL cheerleaders back in either 79, I think, or 78, 79, posed in Playboy, and the shit kind of hit the fan. So
what else? They're cheerleaders. I mean,
and
nothing against cheerleaders. Yeah. But if you got it, flaunt it.
Well, George Hallis, he's one who wanted them, and he's one who gave him, the contract and everything. So unfortunately he passed away in 83, and kind of when their contract was up,
Virginia ex-native,
and it doesn't sound like we may not have them until, I don't know, until it's hard to say.
A change in command.
Yeah, maybe with the new stadium that could be, because when you think about it, here it is, we're the third market, we should have cheerleaders, but why the Giants don't either? That's strange. I don't know. You would think the Giants. How come the Giants don't have them?
Why doesn't any football team not have a cheerleader?
Right. I mean, there's only the Packers.
Every single high school and college.
Right. I think what is it? The Packers, the Giants, and us, and I don't know if that's it. Maybe
sex sells, Don. Sex sells. So coming up this year, you are doing a brand new bear head, if I understand that correctly.
Yeah.
And
I'm crossing my finger. It's not completely done, but
and Don was nice enough to bring it over tonight, and
Yeah.
he is going to premiere it here on First and 10 with Foz. So, Don, let's see that brand new bear head this year, bud.
This is the Bronco the third.
Dude, that is
now this
badass,
is now this is a grizzly, so this is what separates my other two were black bears. The first one I wore for how many years, and he was black. The fur was black. The second one is a black bear, but it's brown color because black bears can have different variations. But this is the king of all
this is
bears in North America is the grizzly. So
this thing probably weighs what, a good a good 25?
No, it's only maybe 8 pounds. Yeah.
I can die a happy man now. Okay, I had to do it. Dude, this is
awesome. So
I
haven't I don't got the foam in it and the straps, but I'm working on it. So actually I'm waiting for
obviously it's a lot more comfortable and lighter as you got the helmet in there, right?
Oh yeah. So no, the weight isn't that bad at all. So.
Well, compared to 26 years of wearing a taxidermy bear on your head,
well,
you probably got neck muscles you can flex it.
Yeah, and also, that first, I had to run on the field on a full.
Yeah, you're out there with flags runing with this thing on your head.
I know. Well, I was a lot younger too, so yeah, I was always amazed that I never lost my bear head through the years, just running with it. So
this is absolutely amazing, man.
Well, thank you.
Obviously, I love the black bear head, but this is a whole nother level,
exactly.
Man. This is really cool. So, speaking of which, we talked about earlier in the show your love for the Bears. You not only are Bear Man, a Bears fan, your house is full of bears.
Yes, I live in a duplex, so my house isn't big at all, but I'm just so enamored with bears.
So Don, you have bears all over your house, and keep on talking. I'm just going to show the video for.
I have basically 13 different bears in different states. I think when I say states, I mean taxidermy. Like this one is just a head. I bought it this way.
So you got like a Kodiak bear, a black, like all different breeds of bears.
Right. So my big ones, I have a 7-foot Kodiak.
Which is right. Oh my God, dude. That's so awesome.
That's Brian for Brian.
That's Brian.
Now this is Dougie. Now this is one of the earliest.
So you have them all named too.
Well, not yet.
Oh, it's okay.
Yet. Well, just 4. So actually, I think Wally was the first one. It's a black bear, just like we call a shoulder mount. So, and then
was that Bronco's son or nephew?
Yeah. So Wally was kind of the first one. Would be the second one I ever bought to put on a wall. And then Dougie came. He's actually a Russian brown bear.
Okay.
So it came from Russia.
So what was your goal to get all the different breeds of bear? Do you want a different type of breed?
Maybe. I don't know if I could afford a polar, maybe I would. Polar is those are the rarest to get.
I remember
those cost
during winter games and snowing outside, wear a polar bear head outside.
But the thing with polar bears, I don't know if you notice, they don't have big heads.
Okay, they have these smaller head bears.
Yeah, because they swim. They're more aerodynamic and so forth. Yeah, no, polar bear, their bodies are bigger, but
I don't know how this looks at home, but this thing is absolutely humongous.
So I got the Kodiak, and actually the Kodiak is interesting. Was when you buy these, you get certificates saying when it was taken, hunted, and actually that bear dates back to 85. It was killed in August of 85.
Ironic, huh?
Yeah, ironic,
right?
And then last year I bought the other full size bear. He's a 6-foot Barren grizzly, and I was lucky. I got him from a wildlife museum that went out of business, maybe because of COVID in Colorado, and they got rid of, I guess, all their tax.
Like an estate sale, like their tax.
Yeah, and this auction company from Iowa was commissioned to sell all their stuff. So it's standing on it looks like a rock, but it's 6 foot.
Yeah.
It's called a Bearman grizzly, which I never even heard of.
But that was in the video I just showed up.
Yeah, so a Bearman grizzly means it's like a subspecies of the grizzly, but it comes from the very northern part of Canada. I don't forget what that area is called, but it's they call it Bearman because it's in a territory where there's not a lot of trees and lush growth. It's more tundra and so forth, and it needs, which Bearman, it actually needs a larger area to survive. Its range is a lot. Like all bears.
We don't need to survive. We just need to buy a taxidermy version and make an helmet out of it.
All bears have what they call a range.
Yeah.
If you know that, they need is interesting. They need so much area to themselves for existence, and if another bear comes in there, then
that's a fact.
Yeah, they get them out of there. So, that Bearman grizzly, his claws are just, I always look at amazing. And a lot of people think, oh yeah, the bear's going to kill you by chewing on you or gnawing you.
Oh no, it's usually like the paws.
It's the claws that'll just rip your flesh out and so forth. So that's what.
I've seen all your heads. I love them all, but this is the back end.
I'm getting excited to debut it at the Packer game.
Hell yeah, my friend. Hell yeah. So Don, you've been doing this. I was a kid watching games and seeing you out there. Man. I mean, you're not that much older than me, but still, there's enough time gap to where I was a kid and I remember seeing Bearman. Like you were always standing out, and then versus the Detroit games. I always remember Pilgrim on Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah,
with Mark. So I mean, growing up, you've always been a staple. You're still a staple today, man. I mean,
well, thank you. Yeah.
You're 61 now,
yes,
and you were talking about retiring super fans. How much longer do we get the honor of Bearman continuing on to be our Chicago Bears super fan?
I've been getting that question more and more, it seems like.
I hope forever, man. I hope you're 80 years old out there doing it personally.
Well, that's what I tell. If I'm not looking like a fool at that age, or if I can still pull it off at 80, I guess. Health wise, I guess.
Dude, if anyone ever say anything negatively about you at a Bears game, they would get the story.
Yeah, people still, want me out there. Yeah, no, if my health can do it, I want to keep on doing it.
Good. I don't want to hear it.
But I do got like a protege, even though I've never been married. I don't have any kids.
Yeah.
But I do have this John Haley is his name.
You have a Bearman in training?
Yes, he's now a senior in high school. He's in the section one over to me, so that's 144, and he wears a foam bear head from Jeff Kalo.
Yeah, the arms on
big
the
head.
side.
Yeah, so and I've been seeing him through the years, and so I'm really getting to know him better and everything. And he was if I ever would have to give it up, and I would want somebody to wear the costume, if he would do it, he would be, he's been going with his grandpa for, how many years now.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, I think, he's already, he has the enthusiasm and so forth. I guess we need to get face paint on him, though. That's the only thing.
Well, I don't want to think of a day ever at the Bears game without Bearman being there. That's for sure. Well, Don, I appreciate you coming on the show and coming overtime, man. Sure. This has been awesome. Everyone I know definitely loved hearing your story and getting the details and starting out young in the 85 season, moving towards today. You're definitely the epitome of what a super fan is.
Oh, thank you.
And definitely the epitome, which I know so many of the fans out there talking with them, you're their goal one day, my friend.
No, man, I just also like to say, just like when I was doing the Ford Hall of Fame, I'm just kind of representing Bear fans. Technically, there's other fans out there that are just as diehard as me, who know more than me about,
Nobody has this on their head.
Well, yeah, it's just that, I mean, they show it in different aspects. I mean, I never want to say, I'm a better fan than somebody else because they don't dress up or don't go to a game. I just do it in a different way. I mean, it's not. I like, it's nice having the attention and so forth, but that wasn't really the reason. I just do it so
and
forth.
that's the best part, man. like I know a lot of us do like stickers and patches and all
Yeah.
this marketing and stuff. You never did any of that.
No,
you just had your costume.
well,
you showed up. You were a season ticket holder, and you rooted for the
Well,
Bears.
yeah, actually, kind of.
And that's really what a super fan truly is.
If it came to me, it came to me. I kind of wait. I don't really throw myself out there and say, look at me or vote for me or for the or say, who wants this and wants that and so forth. I don't really ask the Bears for anything. A lot of people think, that I get free tickets. I don't, and so forth. But I don't pressure.
I was like, you just show the ring and walk on the field like whenever you want. Like, excuse me, this is my pass. This is my pass.
So actually, I won't get recognized as. I actually won't be able to go on the field until my 40th year as a season ticket holder. So they recognize you at 40 years.
40 years.
40 years. So
I think like 25 might be sufficient.
No, because they have so many of them. I don't know if you ever noticed, when the game starts, before the game starts, they show that video. They say,
down there,
they say the season ticket holders of the game. So those are all fans who have had 40 years or more. So I won't be eligible for like 2 more seasons, or I'm not sure with the COVID year if that meant I lost a season. I don't know. But
that should not count. But it's 38 years since 85.
Right.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So then I'll actually.
What does that sound like when you hear that? It's been 38 years.
I know.
Since 1985. Isn't that crazy?
But I know some fans who've been, like Sandy Restich, besides Paul Zawicki, who you should have on your show.
Yeah, definitely. You mentioned Paul. Let's give him an honorable mention. How many games in a row, including away games, has he been to?
No, yeah. So Paul has like 2 different streaks. He has this incredible home streak. He sits next. It's actually because of him I'm in the front row there because I didn't have that ticket.
Yeah.
He's
your partner in crime. And all
yes,
games,
and
right?
he knew. Paul has 2 seats there. Mine were in 151, and I also sat in 148 with a good friend there when I went back in the stands. But he had a group that had 3 seats, and one of the guys needed money very bad, and so I at first I was just buying his seats per game or per season, but then he wanted to sell me the PSL. But anyhow, so that's how I kind of got there. But so Paul, I met him at the old stadium when I ran the flag, and then when I would travel to some away games, I would hook up with him. But yeah, so Paul has been going. He hasn't missed a home game since October or something of 1981. 13 years old. So
God.
So
crazy.
So 2 seasons ago, he celebrated his 400th straight home game, and that's preseason too. So he hasn't missed a preseason since 19.
That's unimaginable.
Yes, I mean Okay, so and then he has the home and away streak. So we just celebrated his 400th. Last season with the Giants game.
Consecutive
without missing.
Holy shit.
Preseason, home and away, 400.
Yeah.
So total games it's like 750 something total home and away games. So he's getting close to this 800 thing. So and
is so crazy.
And Paul is only 54 years old too. And if he could keep, and Paul,
he's on his way to 1,000 easily plus.
Well, I mean, I can't. It's a lot of work. I could never do what he does. He's such a great organizer, and nothing phases him, as far as traveling.
You have to be at this point. I mean, it's so crazy.
He's worked for McDonald's over 30 years, and just got married here this past June.
Well, he's just eating for free on the road when he's traveling. He's getting good prices at least.
And he married a great woman who lets him do what he does. And she has no problem.
They just got married over the summer, correct?
Yeah,
and George McCaskey was at the wedding.
I should say, Who has George McCaskey at their wedding? I mean,
the Road Warrior.
The Road Warrior does. So that was great.
We'll pull some strings. We're gonna get Paul on the show now. Okay?
Yes. Oh yeah, we'll get him.
Well, Don, I appreciate you coming on, sir. Like I said, appreciate you coming over. You're the absolute best, man.
All right,
We
man.
love you to death, sir. Everyone at home, thank you for watching. Get that. Yes. All right, guys. You guys
Go
know
Bears.
the routine. Go Bears. And as always, you know the routine. Bear down, baby.
Thank you, and go Bears!
Bear down!